Hi everyone, and welcome back to Complicated Relationships Reddit Stories. Hope you guys are safe and healthy. Now let's see what the story is about today. Today's story is titled, My Wife Moved In With Her Boss Just Days After We Agreed to Divorce. My wife and I have been married for 13 and a half years, together for 15, and we have been friends for almost 20. She has worked for the same boss for more than a decade. Over the past 9 to 12 months, I had the feeling that something was off in our relationship. To be fully honest, our intimacy had been non-existent for some time before that. But she seemed happy and I had been willing to make sacrifices that were challenging for me. I really wanted a successful marriage. However, in the last year, things started to change. I noticed that she was getting home from work later and later as time wore on. Not enough to immediately set off alarm bells, and her business was growing rapidly. But it definitely started to make me worry. My attempts to engage in conversations were often met with simple one-word answers or nothing at all, often with the excuse of being tired or having had a really long day. Before long, she was settling down for bed at 8:30 p.m., but she has always been a night owl. Then it was 8, then 7:30, then 7. She kept taking side jobs that had her staying at friends' houses for days while they were out of town. I had the distinct feeling that she wanted to be anywhere besides around me. I finally worked up the courage to have the talk about 2 weeks ago. I was shocked and gutted to find out that she was so far into processing her discontent with our relationship that she brought up the divorce within the first couple of minutes. I asked her if she wanted to fight to fix our marriage, and she said she thought it was beyond fixing. Despite every bone in my body wanted to fight, I did not want to drag her through the counseling process if she wasn't invested. I won't begin to pretend that I don't share a fault in the failure of our marriage, but I wasn't about to stand in the way of what she wanted. We agreed the next day to a divorce, but we wanted things to be amicable. Even split off everything, no lawyers, simply a new beginning for both of us. Fast forward 2 weeks, all our personal belongings and assets have been separated and divided. Most of my close friends, family, and co-workers know what's happening. She continued to avoid telling her social circles and was extremely concerned that something would appear on social media. Yesterday, I moved out into my own place. Today, I received an unexpected text from boss's wife. At first, I thought it was simply reaction to the divorce and that my wife had finally shared the details with her co-workers. However, I was shocked to find out that my wife and her boss were moving in together and he had announced he was leaving his family. They both swear that there has been nothing between them besides friendship until they realized in the past few days that they were in similar places in their marriages. Alas, this brings me to my emotions. First, I feel unfettered anger at my wife. I confronted her today and she admitted that she has been checked out of our relationship for years. But instead of telling me she was unhappy, she chose to wait until I was also unhappy. Despite her assurances to the contrary, I also feel an extreme sense of betrayal and deception. No part of me believes the claim that her relationship with her boss is new, emotional, or otherwise. Even recent actions, the request to avoid social media, the intentional steps taken to prevent her co-workers from learning the truth, the insistence that everything remain amicable. It all plays like a setup to avoid any conflict until we had split everything we had and I moved into a new place. Finding out from boss's wife was extra salt in the wound, especially when she shared details from her relationship which made it eminently clear that something had been going on for a long time. All of this brings me to the million-dollar question. We have 2 more tasks which must be completed with both of us physically present. After which I have told her that I have no desire to see her or speak to her again. Every part of my being wants to yell, scream, and unload every emotional broadside I have in order to tell her how I feel. But will that do more harm than good? Do I swallow my pride one last time and say goodbye to my friend of 20 years with restraint and respect she frankly doesn't deserve? Edit. I finally managed to get a few hours of sleep, which definitely helps. The brutal part is, her boss is the owner of the business. There is no HR outside him and my wife, so there's really no resource there. While my emotions want desperately to unload, I think the idea to use the forum of a letter. I don't expect having it out face to face would actually lead to anything constructive, other than maybe me feeling a little better. I started removing our shared ties on social media last night and plan to tell her that I'm done hiding. If she wants to continue to cover up what happened and the choices she made, I'm no longer going to worry about if and when my words and actions undermine that. Edit 2. I spent most of the day today getting our house ready to go on the market and finally landed on an email letter. The longer I processed, the less I saw any benefit in the shouting match that only had the potential to complicate matters. I did not hold back in the letter. I told her exactly how I felt and exactly what I believed to be true. I also clearly spelled out that outside of the necessary matters involving the house and the divorce, I was breaking off communication permanently. It felt really weird to send, but it also felt like an incredible weight lifted as soon as I clicked the send button. While at dinner with a friend, she responded and flipped a lot of anger and excuses back at me. I took a pause from my conversation to read it, but after digesting the multiple-page response, I turned the phone over and set it on the table and picked up my conversation again. I am home now and truthfully feel at peace for the first time since we agreed to split. It might take a little time to unfurl the sails and turn the ship, but I know which way I'm going. Thanks for listening. Second story is titled, My Wife Has Started Having Her High School Ex Over a Lot. Hey everyone, I know the title may sound confusing without the background I'm going to give. So, ever since COVID started, my wife was working from home. My job never let us do that, so I have still been driving to work every day. She has a friend she occasionally hangs out with. He's been invited to hang out with the both of us before too. He's nice, fun to hang around with, and pretty cool too. I've had no problem with this. My wife told me pretty early on that they dated in high school. She said they dated in their freshman and sophomore year. It wasn't physical, but they did mess around. They started reconnecting as friends during their senior year. At that time, he had a girlfriend, and she was seeing another guy as well. She claims after they broke up, there was never anything romantic between them again. When COVID started, my wife said she would be able to work from home. I was glad and happy for her, as I knew that it would be easier and even save gas. She said her friend would be able to work from home too, so they may meet up sometimes to go over their work and help each other. They both work in similar fields. One day, I came home and noticed that he was there. I thought nothing of it really, as my wife had told me about this. They both had their computers on and looked like they were working pretty hard. It was like this for a while. Suddenly, a few weeks in, I would come home and they would be casually hanging out and having fun. Sometimes they would be playing a game, sometimes they would be drinking, and sometimes they would be eating. I started finding this a little bit weird. It seemed as though he was getting more attention than me, and that she was having a better time with him than me. Then one day when I came home, it was the final straw. They were both on the couch and her head was in his lap while watching TV. I waited until he left and had a talk with her. I was fuming. I yelled at her and told her that her actions have been unacceptable and that there is no reason that she should be laying with a friend like that. I expressed how I felt when I see her giving more attention to him than her husband, and it seems like they were having more fun than we do, not to mention that they have dated before and fooled around. She got really upset and said I had no right to tell her that she can no longer hang around with him. She was mad that I seemed to claim that she was cheating on me with him and swore that she was not and would not do that. She said all they were doing was just relaxing and that it was not wrong to lay her head on his lap. The last 2 days he had not been in the house when I got home. She says she has not seen him since our talk. I apologize for being so angry about it. She doesn't seem like she has accepted my apology, as she has been really quiet around me ever since. Later, I was made aware that he could be still coming over during the daytime and leaving before I get there. I ended up buying a camera that I could set up and hide while I'm at work. I put one in the living room and one in the bedroom. The first day they were set up, I saw nothing unusual. The second day was when it happened. The ex came over. At first, they were just working, but then he started getting pretty touchy with her. It progressed. and later they ended up going into our bedroom. I was shocked. I wasn't sure what to do. As soon as I saw my wife again, I questioned her if she had been seeing him anymore. She denied it. I told her that I had cameras installed in the house. Her face changed completely. She knew what I had seen. She immediately started crying. I told her to leave the house. She tried to apologize and explain, but I wasn't having any of it. Since then, we have talked to each other once. I told her that I don't see anything can happen besides a divorce. She said she doesn't want that and asked if we could go to couples counseling before making the final decision. I reluctantly agreed. I don't expect it to work. I'm mainly doing it to humor her. I'm still looking and trying to contact divorce lawyers while I'm writing this. End of the story. Well, OP hasn't given us an update yet. Let's see if there's going to be one in the future. Please like, comment, and share the story if you enjoyed it. Also, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you will be notified when we upload the next video. Take care.